Welcome to the Clear Path, everyone. Today, we have for you a special episode going over the recent United States Men's Basketball League win, where the United States beat Serbia 95-91. And obviously, the first thing we got to hit on as Warriors fans is Steph Curry. He hadn't been playing good throughout the Olympics, and he'd really been stymied. It feels like the plan against Steph Curry was essentially to make sure that everyone else locked and trailed him. Every defender that was guarding him would just basically grab his hand and just follow him around every single screen. And they don't really draw up plays on Team USA as much. They like to play this pace and space. And so Steph Curry is better utilized as a decoy. But this game, he really got off. 9 of 14 from three, well over 50%. 12 of 19 from the field. 8 rebounds, that's key, and 2 assists. I thought he had an incredible performance, and his ability to shoot the ball really brought them back in. After all, they lost the first 3 quarters. They lost the first quarter by 8, the second quarter by 3, the third quarter by 2, but they were able to make it up by winning the fourth quarter by 17 points. And a lot of that was due to Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. And those were the 3 most important players for them throughout the home stretch. And it was just really awesome to watch them play together. I think Kevin Durant probably hit one of the most clutch shots, and it's fitting as he just became the best or the most successful scorer in the Olympics, which is just incredible to watch. I think specifically as well, Joel Embiid has to be hit on. He had a couple huge baskets in the fourth quarter when I was watching. I think specifically his turnaround shot and one he got on Nikola Jokic in the beginning to get him his 4th foul was really key. After all, remember in FIBA basketball, you're only allowed 5 fouls before you foul out. And I think getting Jokic that 4th foul was really critical because he wasn't able to be nearly as aggressive towards the end, which is why I felt like they definitely had a point at which it felt like Serbia was just kind of giving the United States the lead. You look at the minutes played, I mean, Jokic was out there basically all of the second half, rested a little bit in the first half, but he was clearly tired towards the end. His jumper was off, only going 7 from 17 from the field, 0 of 6 from three-point land. But I think with his 11 assists and 5 rebounds and 17 points, he still showed you that he's probably the best player in the world. And even going against an all-star team, he was able to, with the help of Bogdanovic, who scored 20 points, really put up a competitive fight against the United States team that was clearly stacked. Obviously, another storyline coming out of this game has to be Jayson Tatum. DNP. Didn't play. Who played over him? Anthony Edwards, Derek White, Drew Holiday. All of them getting at least some minutes. Derek White with 7, Anthony Edwards with 13, and Drew Holiday with 20 minutes. And I think that was really kind of curious. I thought Jayson Tatum definitely deserves a spot over somebody like Derek White. I think maybe the problem with these lineups is that Devin Booker has just filled the Jayson Tatum role so well. He played a lot in clutch time, and I felt like Steve Kerr has a lot of confidence in Devin Booker as the player that can essentially guard as well as score and shoot well from three-point land. He obviously only made 1 3 in the game versus Serbia, but his ability to shoot from 3 and kind of be a guy who understands when to pass the ball is super important. Maybe he feels like Jayson Tatum just doesn't provide the value that the others have in terms of defense, which Derek White and Drew Holiday definitely bring, as he seemed to prefer Derek White and Drew Holiday over him, which I would think they would slot into relatively similar spots. And maybe a big factor in this is Steph Curry is just not the best defender in the world, so it feels like you need somebody to guard the point guard to make sure that the Team USA does lose any defender matchup and make sure that Drew Holiday is able to guard their guards. As you saw, Bogdanovic definitely went off this game and they wanted somebody to guard him, and that's why I think in the end they ended up sticking Drew Holiday on him in the last 30 seconds just to make sure that they weren't able to get a final attempt. I think overall though, when we look back on this Team USA win, I think honestly we probably won't remember it. I think these types of games from Team USA, I honestly can't remember 2020 in the Summer Olympics whenever the Team USA won. I think a lot of times we think that these are huge moments. I think they're huge moments going into the next season and seeing what will happen. But I think all in all, Olympic gold medals aren't valued in the public eye as much as NBA championships are. I think a couple of things that will definitely come out of this, and a couple of narratives specifically, is that LeBron James is still one of the best players in the world, putting up a triple-double in the Olympics. Remember, only 40 minutes. Um, just incredible. He's still one of the best players, and in limited sample size, like we could see him in the playoffs next year, he can still be one of the best players. It also shows, I think, the Lakers that he can still be one of the best players, and Anthony Davis has been incredible throughout the Olympics as well. And maybe putting usable NBA players on both the offensive and defensive end, which I believe Jayson Tatum loves to hit on kind of in his podcast, talking about how Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, they all have deficiencies, whether for Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, it's more of the defensive end, and Gabe Vincent, it's somewhat of the offensive end. If they had 5 complete players that even did it at a NBA level, defense and offense, they would definitely be a more complete team and really able to actually utilize their teammates and maybe compete in the playoffs. I think another narrative about this will just be that Kevin Durant is the best Olympic player of all time. I think that will be a small narrative, but definitely something to add into his book of achievements. I think the Suns also have to be very encouraged with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker both playing really well in these Olympic Games and showing that they can be part of a dominant team, which is Team USA. I think Joel Embiid has also learned a lot. I think that's one of my biggest narratives of how to play with other stars. And I think this is going to be super key when he gets together with Paul George and Tyrese Maxey in the next season. I think it's going to be key for him to not play the ISO ball that he has been playing throughout the last couple of seasons, that MVP ball where he just tries to draw fouls and shoot the ball. Instead, utilizing his ability to shoot the three-point shot, which he made 2 out of 3 of his three-point shots, and make bigs come away from the basket, I think is really crucial. And it's the reason why he's playing actually right now over players like Bam and Anthony Davis, who have traditionally played better on the defensive end, even in this Olympics versus him. The ability for him to just draw out defenders out of the paint and make it easier for the team to drive into the paint is crucial. And I think it will be crucial in the season with the Philadelphia 76ers, specifically with a player like Tyrese Maxey, who can utilize that split-second indecision of a big who's essentially trying to go out to the three-point line to contest Joel Embiid, and he can quickly pass it to Tyrese Maxey, and Tyrese Maxey can just zip line right to the basket and get an easy, basically uncontested shot with no help coming from a big man. Overall, I'm really encouraged by Team USA, and I really love watching the basketball, to be honest. It feels very nostalgic. I grew up with a lot of these players. I feel like players like Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant have been era-defining players. I mean, I think if we look at the 2010s to the 2020s, we'll remember those 3 players the most, and LeBron James, arguably one of the greatest players of all time, and I would argue Steph Curry as well. And Kevin Durant definitely has a say argument, especially if he was to win another title. I think we definitely have a lot of momentum going into this last game. I can't wait to watch them play France. I think we'll definitely destroy France. I think one of the stats Jayson Tatum pointed out, according to Second Spectrum, is actually the United States has the best defense in the Olympics so far. And I think that is just a testament to how hard everyone's playing and how well our team is switching. And I think if we can beat France on defense, they really have no chance on offense. Their best players are all-time defensive players like Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama. And Victor Wembanyama is definitely a star, and he's going to have to play out of his mind to beat us. But I think we have too many big bodies. I think people like Joel Embiid, Bam Adebayo, and Anthony Davis will definitely have minutes in this game. I think all 3 will definitely play. In fact, I think 2 of them might play together towards the end if they decide to play Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama together. But I do expect the United States to win. I expect us to score over 80 points or so, and I think that will be enough to beat France. And I think it might not even be a competitive game just because the United States can taste the gold. And I think that is a lot of motivation for this team, who has really been striving to get the gold, and knowing that this would all be a disappointment if they weren't to get the gold. We're not aiming for silver. That's not good enough for Team USA. We're looking for the gold, and we have the best team. With that, and with Steph Curry scoring 36 out of our 95 points, almost a third of the points in way less minutes than an NBA game, in 40 instead of 48, I think it's been a successful Team USA season. It's been some great basketball to watch in the basketball off season where there's not so much basketball to watch. And for us basketball starved fans, I'm glad we got to watch something great. With that, thank you guys for watching. And please, if you like this video, please look at our other podcasts or look at some of our film reviews that are super interesting and I'm sure you guys would love. Thank you guys for watching and listening.